Good morning, everybody. It is time to talk a little racing, brought to you by Wild Elephant Sparkling Tea. It is the Monday morning race review, so let's lean over. We're going to crack open a Wild Elephant Sparkling Tea. This is the cold version. There's the hot version over there of the same product, elephanttea.com. One tea in elephant tea. That's the way you get this product, unless you wait just a little while longer, because as we speak, as we talked to Ron Atapatu on Friday, I should say, the product is coming here to Des Moines. It is actually en route to Des Moines right now. They are going to be a sponsor of the Zubilation coming up this weekend that Jackie and I are going to be hosting, which is really neat. And I'm sure they'll be using some sparkling tea. Hang on just a second here. Oh, that is really good. That honey in that one is really good. Using their sparkling tea and some of the creations coming up to raise some money for the Blank Park Zoo. So we'll give you more details when the product does arrive as to how you can get it. How neat is that? But speaking of Ron, how about Ron Atapatu and wishing him a happy birthday today? Yep, he is celebrating a birthday today. We wish you the very best today. And now Ron is very into racing, as you can tell by his uniform there. He races in the Lamborghini, and he's going to be racing at Sebring coming up here in a couple of weeks. But he also found out that this past weekend was the Tiny Lund Memorial Race over in Harlan, and he heard about that. And he wanted to make sure that people knew a little bit about Tiny Lund. So Ron commissioned American Performance Media and our friend John Potts to get us a story about Tiny Lund that you might not have known about, where Tiny Lund saved the life of a fellow race driver, which as an end result, what happened to him was one of the biggest wins of his life. Take a look at this.
Just 10 days before the Daytona 500, Marvin agreed to test drive a Ford-powered Maserati. The plan was to set several new world records with the car. As he accelerated down the backstretch, the Maserati became airborne, landing on its roof and bursting into flames.
I couldn't get out over the engine, I couldn't get out over the back because it was all flattened down.
Seeing the fire, Steve Petrusek with Firestone grabbed Jerry Rayborn and driver Tiny Lund out of the garage area to help pull Marvin from the inferno.
Steve and the rest of them all went right into the fire and lifted the car up, and Tiny grabbed me by the leg and jerked me out.
His opportunity to drive in the upcoming 500 was now lost. When Glenn Wood visited Marvin in the hospital, Marvin suggested putting Tiny Lund in the car, one of the men who had pulled him from the fire. It would be a classic fairy tale turn of events, as Lund would win the 1963 Daytona 500 in the Wood Brothers Ford.
How about that? Dwayne Lewis Lund winning that. But this is where the event was happening this past weekend over at the Shelby County Speedway in Harlan, Iowa. Take a look at the highlights from the event. And they were racing all different types of cars there. As you can see, coming on of turn number 4, coming down the front straightaway, the Sport Compact cars there. They are just a lot of fun. And they make a really big whining sound there. Advantage Racing TV providing us with some of the footage here. And then the full body cars continuing on. This is a lot of fun. Now, you can also hear the excitement of the announcers when we get some really cool racing action side by side. Door to door, look at 3 wide over in Harlan at the dirt track out there. Great attendance, by the way. Now, take a look here, and we'll take a listen to the announcers as we get down to the last little bit here.
Van Horn snuck to the inside. Now Van Horn, he's trying to hold off Nichols. Nichols going to try and make one more charge down into 3 and 4 on the high side. It's going to be a drag race down to the finish. Nichols and Van Horn out of 4. Who's it going to be? Van Horn! Van Horn! Dusty Van Horn beats Mike Nichols.
Great job. We'll continue on here. Of course, we have those, and we have the Sport Mods. They were racing as well. It was just a great time had by all. Take a look. Here are the Sport Compacts, and here are the winners. Look at the different places where people are coming from all over the state, even Nebraska, into competing there. So congratulations to Evan for winning the Sport Compact division there. Now move on to the hobby stocks, so you know how the hobby stocks shook out. Denison, Iowa is where Alex Stapleton came from. He won in the hobby stocks in the feature event on Saturday evening. So that is way cool, seeing all those people. Again, very well represented from all over the state of Iowa and even Nebraska as well. Atlantic, Iowa was where Dusty Van Horn, you just saw him win over Mike Nichols from Harlan, Iowa in the stock car division there. Corey Stapleton finished in third place in that event as well. We move along to the modifieds, and check this out. The sport mods first. Hunter Longnecker from Woodward. And look at just some of the other places. Even Tyler Inman from Altoona. Good job out of you, Tyler. Got to make sure we give a shout out to our locals here. Great job for finishing in 7th in the sport mod division. Now the modifieds, a very familiar name, finished up on top. Kelly from Fertile, Iowa. He does it. Shryock does it again over in Harlan. Great job out of him. And then, of course, we do have the late models that had a chance to compete as well. And Ryan Griffin from Webster City, he got around Kosiski and stayed in front of him. Kosiski tried to reel him in at the very end, wasn't quite able to do so. So that's the way things all happened there. Now, remember, this is all part of the big event that happened over this past weekend, the Tiny Lund Memorial. Go to their website. You can see more details on this. Now, if you want to see more information and more content when it comes to race drivers, you can text the word live to 457-1026. Why would you do so? Well, because we have one-on-one interviews with Daryl DeFrance after his 500th IMCA late model start. An extended interview there. Jonathan Logue, the three-time winner of the IMCA Super Nationals in the Sport Mod division. We talked to him after his back-to-back win this year. A long conversation with Jonathan Logue. And Carson McCarl, after he won back-to-back championships at Knoxville Raceway, we sat down and talked to Carson McCarl one-on-one. So check it out. It's Beyond Live, an extension of Iowa Live. You'll have a great time doing that. Now, want to get you caught up as to what's happening with NASCAR real quick. They had a chance to run the Trucks Xfinity Series and the Cup Series from Las Vegas. And here are your winners. Austin Hill wins Las Vegas on Friday night, so congratulations to him. You see him pointing at the roof there. They had some cancer patients that were listed on some of the cars there, almost all the cars. And this guy here was sitting next to us just about a year ago. A couple of times, Chase Briscoe wins race number 8 in the Xfinity Series. This guy's destined for the Cup Series. Speaking of Cup Series, Kurt Busch from Las Vegas wins in Las Vegas. After 22 attempts, he finally wins at his home track. He punches his ticket into the next round of the NASCAR playoffs. So there you have it. That's your Monday morning race review brought to you by Wild Elephant Sparkling Tea. Coming soon to Des Moines. We'll let you know when it gets here.